So, basically, my entire life, I have technically been a loser. Now, I never felt like a loser. And from my perspective, I was always a winner. But I was winning at a different game. At not the game of life, but at the game of Minecraft, Rocket League, CSGO, etc., etc., etc. I was obsessed with video games. And that's the only thing I did really. Like, I was watching YouTube, eating shit food, but most of the time, that was just me playing video games. That's been my entire life up until 15 years old. Now, I never struggled socially. I wasn't like an outcast or anything. I was fitting in with the group of, sort of, I guess gamers as well, right? But more so a bit more chill, flexible guys. Uh, or at least that's the story that I tell myself when thinking of the past. So, where am I going with this? I've been like basically sitting in my room all day for 10 hours a day, coming back from school, waking up early literally to grind the game. And I got really fucking good at it. Like, I got super, super advanced compared to my peers at the very least. Now, I wasn't a pro gamer. I could still suck, but I have like over, I don't know, I guess like 10,000 hours, 15,000 hours in Minecraft, 2,000 hours in CSGO, maybe like 500 in Rocket League, and in every sort of game that I played, I reached at least top 10% or the top 1%. So I had that mentality, and I knew all along because of my environmental upbringing of my parents and my choices throughout life as well, and a mix of conditioning and like nature and nurturing. That's the point I've been at. I've been dominating, I've been winning my whole life, but as a video gamer, and just been sort of neglecting, not being interested in the game of real life. I had some friends. I know I struggled socially, as I mentioned. I was a charismatic, nice guy, but never been popular either, and definitely not with the girls. In any case, I've been a winner, and at 15, when I asked myself a question: what the hell do I actually want to do with my life? How do I want to live it? And that came from the question of, well, I'm finishing up high school. I need to start thinking about university. So where do I actually want to go? What do I want to study? And from there, I got to what I do with my life. And well, didn't have an answer. It was a very emotional moment. I have a video of myself literally like crying on camera, not not for use, just for myself. Like, never posted. Probably will at some point release it, but like that was never the intention. Uh, it's just a very, very emotional state, and a very deep rooted um, problem, and a deep conversation that I had with myself, perhaps the first in my entire life, where I took the accountability, the responsibility, and actually said to myself, okay, it's my problem to figure it out, and I have no fucking idea. So that was the state, and I resorted to what I knew, to what my parents taught me, to what my environment taught me, and God bless my parents, really. They are adamant on the education system, and they see how it's important, but they themselves were like salespeople back in their day. My dad was from the village, but he became super, super successful by the times of those days, um, making insane amounts of money in sales, um, coming from a professional athlete background. In any case, my mother is sort of the same, more academic, but still made a ton of money in unconventional ways. So I'm very lucky to not have wasted years of my life by actually sitting there and thinking, oh yeah, I need to like a university degree, and I'm gonna choose to this university and go there, and then get a job and be a good boy. So yeah, I don't need to change anything or improve. I just need to study for another 7 years of my life. Right? It's just God bless this guy. So smart, so intelligent, that he never chose that path. So I started reading. I didn't know the answer, but I knew the answer was out there, and I already at some level knew that like education system and normal jobs, like it's just not what I'm gonna do with my life. And so I started reading books. My first book, Atomic Habits, I literally just ordered a bunch of like books that I just spontaneously researched. Then I started watching some YouTube video in Russian language because I'm from Ukraine. We speak Ukrainian and Russian, and that was I stumbled upon my first, self-improvement YouTuber, Albert, and he was like very small at the time. Now he's big, I believe. It was like at 100K subs, but I eventually just reached a point in my life where stars aligned and also got into like a UK high school. So everything at the time was really moving towards, the West. I was like out of Ukraine. The war started after a couple of months, and I was inside of an online school in the UK, literally getting education in the English language. Which like education doesn't mean shit, but it's a great experience in itself of just switching the language model, switching the environment that I was in, and that was the second biggest breakthrough I feel like in my life. First, that I completely controlled, like to some extent, my sort of breakdown, mental breakdown, taking responsibility, my wake up call of like I don't really see myself playing video games for another 7 years. Like I want to do something. Like I need to think about it at least, right, and decide and choose. And in that time frame, actually, when I started reading books, like in a month or two, it's like super quick. I started watching some self-improvement videos, started working out a bit, doing pull-ups, learning to do my first pull-up, and I broke up with my friends as well. That's just a very interesting fact that sort of demonstrates my commitment and my personal headspace, because my friends were drinking. My like it wasn't a good time, it wasn't a good environment to be in. I was always against drinking, always against smoking. I tried smoking once, fucking horrible stuff, never again. uh, so yeah, I just said, I fabricated an excuse. I didn't do it in the best possible way. I said, well man, like if you can't really stop drinking like a beer every single day, like you have some problems with your parents because they were drinking heavy, and like he hasn't done drugs or anything. We're like 15, bro. So yeah, I fabricated a reason that because he drinks all the time, like basically almost every single day or like every single week, uh, I can't be friends with him. Like I just wanted to sort of get rid of that environment because I knew. We also talked about this, I think, on like on a walk of where we want to go with our lives, and I was just like, I don't think we have the same vision. And we were friends for like 2 3 years. Um, Very good guy, love him to death and beats, but I had to part ways. I had to take the plunge and cut off, you know, the leeches, the crabs, the people who. It's not even the leeches, the crabs, because that's condescending. It's just like I had to part ways in like a respectful way with the people that just don't go in the same direction that I go. That's the best way to put it. Because it's not that their direction is worse; it's just different. Because like who defines what best and worse, and they think that it's best for them, and I think that this one is best for me. So it's all super subjective, and I don't want to sound rude or condescending, but that's what happened. And I was all in, isolated, in a different country, in Bulgaria now, um, studying with different people. Still Ukrainians in my classroom. Like the whole classroom was from Ukraine mainly, and studying in the UK school with UK teachers, being in that environment with possibility of moving to the UK and then pursuing a degree there or some A level stuff and like college, before university. So I was isolated, and that's the second blessing that happened to me. I was out of the Soviet Union atmosphere, and SNG community, and the Russian speaking community, and I was like, okay, I'm going all in on the English speaking world. I'm going all in on the world. I don't limit myself to my native language. And at the time, I started a YouTube channel. I was watching Hamza at the time, my main influencer, the person that actually showed me the rest of the self-improvement and gave me the right morals on this journey of, mental health, of being polite. And I don't know, I guess he respected as a Westerner, as a like super Westerner of like the UK, right? He respected because he's like, maybe because he's from, Pakistan family and like sort of Indian family. No caller ID, what the hell? Don't answer that one. Because he was from this sort of Indian Pakistani close knit family, maybe because of that, but also in the Western world, he respected um, other people. He respected family a lot, and he respected, the manners and the sort of conservative type of, behavioral models, which really just ensure that everyone lives peacefully and everyone gets respected. And that's also what I have. Because, like, it's still sort of Asia, right? Russia, Ukraine, like, Ukraine is more in the Europe, but below that is, like, India, Pakistan, it's all, like, Asia. Like, we are based on that, like, communism, conservatism, and shit like that. Like, don't associate with myself with anything. Like, I don't know. I'm, like, really not knowledgeable on politics and whatnot. But that's just my train of thought that um, because he respected the morals that I had in my, SNG, in Ukraine, in like my native country, um, I was able to operate and go all into the Western world. First off, much easier, but also retaining my morals and basically being a good human being. I believe that's super important on my journey, on my path, making good impact, like not destructing, not scamming people, not lying, not deceiving, not harming anyone. And that comes from not harming yourself and from taking care of yourself. And so I started watching Hamza. I started doing a YouTube channel in the English language, even though at the time in Ukraine there was basically absolutely no competition. And I could easily, like I think at least, I could easily gain a lot of views, gain a lot of subs and momentum and motivation. But I made a conscious choice at some point. I literally had a classmate. We started at the same time. She blew up with just like a normal video. Now, the video was good. Kudos to her. I couldn't have done that before. She ran a TikTok as well. So, good work ethic. Deserved. No, like, I was really jealous at the time though. But I realized that, okay, she has a different skill set. Like, she was a content creator for a couple of years now. She has a different approach to me, different goals. So there's so many different things that I was just not really able to compare myself to her in that sense. But I was still sort of envious. Like I was aware of my envious, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't be envy, but like I just was, okay. And now I'm not, because I have like a bit more of perspective, not condescension, but just more perspective on how the world operates, I guess. But in any case, I decided to, okay, so I could pivot to Ukraine and just start speaking Ukrainian, Russian, and get some good traffic, easy wins, easy starts, but like easy choices, hard life, and I knew that. And so the cap for the Ukrainian population versus worldwide population, as well as the skill sets that I gained speaking in Russian versus English, they're very two different paths. And so I chose the one. I chose the world. I chose, like, it's not binary. Obviously, I could choose. I could like switch anytime, and you know, even if I would have chosen Ukraine, doesn't mean I would never have chosen world and English after that one. It's like it's not black and white, okay? But that was the decision that I made, and I was in the world. Boom. So first stage, waking up and realizing no one's gonna save me. The second stage and pivotal moment is realizing, okay, I'm out of the world. Like I'm in the world. I'm in Europe. I'm connected. My English sucks ass, but like it was I think A2 low B1. Like I was good at comprehension, but terrible at speaking, and lots like massive accent and lots of issues there. At least, as far as my self-awareness goes. My parents would have had a different opinion. It's all, not black and white as well, like contrasting and stuff like that. Anyhow, I was in the world and I was out there um, to hunt, to win. That was the intention. And so began a third phase of my life. After 2 years of running a YouTube channel, I realized that it's just kind of over. It's like I don't see myself winning on YouTube now. Like I've tried pivoting and changing strategies and sticking with it, and now looking back, like my last post was 15 months ago. That's when I stopped, fall into my last rut, and didn't come back to YouTube. If I were to post every single day, that's like 15 months, that's 500 days. I saw my last video posted 487 days ago. If I had 500 videos basically every single day, if I were to post, I would have 500 videos. I would have definitely been insanely closer to being successful on YouTube, learning the skill set, etc., etc. So I fully accept my decision and what I've done, but at the same time, retrospectively, it was still sticking with it. It still wasn't exactly the pivot moment for me. But at that point, I already done that loop like 5-6 times, and when you repeat, and it just sucks. And so like I was basically posting on YouTube for a couple of months, being super active, aggressive, and like, let's get it, so good, like I'm gonna stick with it and I'm gonna get successful, and then not seeing results, falling back into a rut for a month or 2 or 3, and then coming back once again for a couple of months, and I just repeated 6 times. So I was done, I was over, I was burnt out, whatever, what have you labels. And I came back to the same question. Same question I thought of for the past, I don't know, 4 years of my life now. 4 years. That's actually mental. Or maybe it's 3, but 3, 4, more like 4. What am I to do with my life? Like, genuinely, what do I want? And so I realized that there was no real clear answer, but that I also am not gonna get it just thrown out, which sounds so obvious, but it took me a couple months to get to that idea. And I was just like being lost and sort of watching some YouTube videos, some random ones, some self-improvement ones, but mostly, gaming, like not even related, just escaping reality. And I was sitting in a car with my dad going somewhere, and we stopped at, at the big crossroad in the middle of the city, and we were talking about, life and what I want to do and stuff like that. And he was like, you can think and analyze on what the best turn is to get to your destination, whether it's left or right or perhaps back or that way or this, or it doesn't really matter, because the failure is actually only possible when you just stop, when you don't move, when you allow that analysis to paralyze you, to like never move. And when you don't move, you die. That's what happens. We never stagnate. Like, it's an illusion, I think, at least. Like, never is a strong word, but see, I don't like, yeah, we can't be static. We are not static. It's like, it's not possible on a physical molecular level. Like, we are always shifting. We're always, like, the tiniest particle in the universe is always appearing, disappearing, and so there's nothing ever static. We're always changing. Every single second, every single moment, it's a different you. Now, what holds that different you from the you as yourself, as I, an identity? Like, what is I from moment to moment? Now, that's an answer to the question of death and what happens after, but at least by Yuval Noah Harari. But the point is, he said, if you don't move, like, that's the ultimate failure. Analyzing is not a problem. The problem is never moving, never coming to the conclusion, and to keep analyzing. And that just hits me like a train, because that's what I've been doing for basically a year. Like over the 3 years of that self-development uh, journey, basically a year I just spent on video games, on junk food, and like something else, something that is not my life, just distracting myself, just running away. Maybe more than a year. But I realized I needed to move, and so I started to move into AI, video making, becoming a freelancer, making like becoming a video editor with like AI, or like pivoting, basically doing something with social media. And then I was like, maybe I need to pursue a psychology degree, psychology, learning psychology. That sounds awesome, and I can get in a very good university in Cambridge and like Stanford, and um, and then document everything on YouTube, make a lot of money. Like I had that plan, and then eventually I said to myself, I don't want to do like anything really. I don't know what I want to do, but let me let me just think what I actually want not to do, but just like how do I want to spend my time? Okay, it's a completely different question, and I was like, I would want to travel Japan. Like that sounds really cool. Like just traveling, being in another country, gaining perspective. Now you could argue that's like another research procrastination, and very well could be, but that's what I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, cool. I need the money. How do I get the money? I don't give a fuck. What's the easiest way? Oh, okay, get a job. Cool. Let me get a job. Fuck it. Let me lose my jobless entrepreneur virginity. Um, and so I never got it until like what 6 8 months after. But I was like, cool. Let me do the customer service job. Like it's easy, it's nice. $1,000, like 4 months of work, and I'm out to Japan. Awesome. Spending all the money I earned, but I also gained some experience. I got into sales. Like I was, why not? If instead of me, taking calls, I can make calls and make twice the money. So I was like, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. So let me see what's out there. And I was like, tech sales, SaaS. And I was like, whoa, lots of money, in this uninformed optimism of like, whoa, this is going to be so easy to get a job. And like, I see, how to do it exactly. And I see people getting successful, making a lot of money. Like, it's not going to be easy, but like, I'm going to get it and shit like that. And then I stumbled upon high ticket sales. I realized that that was the thing. I was coaching, I was interested in literally two things: in social media and in like sales. Or, sort of not necessarily sales, it's more so, like the product side of things, but yeah, mostly like communication and sales, right? To be honest, like, okay, it was sales and marketing and sales, not like social media necessarily, but I would have done it as a social media because that's what I want to do. Let me adjust the camera. I realized that's the thing. That's it. That's the thing. What's up with my accents all of a sudden? And so I was hooked. I was all in. Within a week, we moved to Poland from Bulgaria now, and literally with bags lying in my like temporary apartment in my bedroom. I was just sitting out there reading The Way of the Wolf, researching how to land a role, watching role plays, stuff like that, like surface level stuff. But then we got a permanent apartment, and I was in. I was hooked. I was running role plays. I was doing like, done basically in that month or two, like over 100 role plays. Just like booking 8 to 10 role plays a day, 6 people, 8 people showing up, like calling people up before to make sure they actually show, improving my show up rate and all the rest of it. It was lots of fun. It was the most locked in I've ever been. And at the same time, something just like felt a bit off. Like I knew I was over indexing myself. I knew like it wasn't gonna last forever, but I still kept on pushing. I kept on pushing, I kept on going, and so I burnt out in a way. It was like 2 months of intense work, and then I started getting a job, got shit results. So like for a week, I was just like, ah, fuck, and I just played like I remember exactly what I played. It was like Rogue Legacy 2, and then I listened to or read, yeah, read like Red Rising, 3 books, 3 fucking thick fiction books, uh, and the entire game, Rogue like game. It's like very big as well. But I was like, bro, I'm fucking experienced video gamer, and by that time I was also an experienced content consumer, like from YouTube and reading as well. So I just got locked in on those two things. I smashed them out. I got out my, I don't know, I guess ADHD child, like escapism, hedonistic urges and needs. I fulfilled those, and then I was back in the game, applying for roles right away. It's just like in my calendar, I can see, just like yellow block. Yellow is like my personal stuff, and sometimes that includes, relaxation, but also sometimes like I used to put it in yellow as well as like video games, movies, something that's like personal, not work, not self improvement stuff like that. So it's like just like yellow blocks for 12 hours a day, and then next week you swipe, and it's just like work and no yellow box. So there's an interesting transition, but uh, yeah, I got back on track. I got a role. Actually, I invested like 500. I got resourceful. I literally had no fucking bank account, bro. I was like, it was so bad, so bad. But and that's me like 4 months ago. But uh, funny how I say so bad, even though it's so recent, and it's like same situation, right? I do have bank account though. Don't worry, bro. In any case, I got it all, and then it flopped. It was horrible. It was terrible. Like I didn't want to work. I lost my motivation. The company was unethical itself, but I take full responsibility because like I didn't vet the company. I had 2 offers, 2 other job offers, offering me the opportunity to work for them, but I said no to a better one, which I didn't qualify, and I got fucked. Like, or at least I qualified them like partially, sort of lying to myself a bit, saying it was gonna be okay, but no, it wasn't. And so I lost everything. Like I was back to square zero, just playing games, not wanting to be in sales. Lost the position, my subscription to the community, which gave me job posts to find new jobs, like ran out, and I was like, what the fuck do I do? And well, after a couple of weeks, couple of months, kudos for me, by the way. The ruts are getting so much shorter. Like it's just so nice to see, because when you're like there in the trenches, like it lasts forever. It's fucking like it's your entire life, right? Just day after day watching anime. True, but like a year ago that would have been 2 months. 2 years ago that would have been like 4 months, right? But now it's been like just 2 3 weeks. And I actually looked back recently, like 2 weeks ago on my birthday, my 19th birthday, and I just looked at the calendar and I was like, holy cow, it's actually not that bad. Like, it's still shit, definitely, but it's like such an improvement from the last year or two in terms of, ruts and like not staying on my purpose and escaping reality. So, like, hey, kudos for me, hey. Tolerance building up. Just suck a melon dick there for a minute, but basically, I got in a rut for a couple of weeks and then I came back into sales. And I had what I think, yeah, and I had my third breakthrough was sales, discovering sales and learning that path and coming out of YouTube, still being in the world, but like now my job is literally to speak with people and influence them in English for a living. Like how insane is that? How awesome and how interesting and how unexpected that development is, from the kid at 15 in his room barely speaking any English and understanding like a bit but not much. It was like A2 low B1 level. Like it was good, better than my peers. I always had good English, but like compared to what? Compared to people who barely poke any, like, stuff like that. So that is where I am now. Stage 4. My fourth most, or I guess like that's still stage 3. That's like stage 3.1, discovery and sales. Stage 3.2 is like this. But I want it to be stage 4, honestly, because I feel like in this year, it's not visible. I cannot say de facto what changed between me a year ago when I was in stage 2 doing YouTube and just like stopped basically. But I still want to make a distinction because we're not the same people. We don't have the same mind, we don't have the same frame. About a month ago, so I got into sales and then I got a better offer and I quit, and I got back into sales again. But then what happened is I had a Vipassana retreat, a meditation retreat, which is also an incredibly important event for me. It was like a massive mind development, literally unlocking the entire space of like awareness and inner development on like a deeper level than beliefs, on how our beliefs formed, how our thoughts formed, why are they formed, how do they influence you, how I can change how me reacting to my literally bodily sensations. Like, however weird that's gonna sound, I'm not gonna explain why. Me not reacting to my bodily sensations is gonna influence the core of my being, part of my subconscious mind that interprets everything as I want this, I don't want this, I want this, I don't want this, which generates so much suffering, so much attachment, and so much resistance then when you actually take action, because you are attached to the goal, because you want one thing but don't want the other, so you generate the attachment, the craving, aversion, and attachment. And so you not fulfilling the goal, or fulfilling it even, is a threat to your ego, to part of you. And so you resist making the change, you resist taking action. And gaining that awareness was incredible insight. So coming back to this moment, to why I think stage 3 was uncertainty, was realizing that I'm still uncertain, that I'm still out there not knowing what I'm gonna do, but pivoting to sales, pivoting to, okay, maybe YouTube is not the thing right now because I need more resources, because I need more skills, more knowledge, more whatever. It might not even be true, and I might just cope. And I do cope to some extent with this by saying all those things, but I believe that's also true, that I do need more resources and that I do need more proof, more credibility, because the problem with YouTube, why I didn't succeed mainly, ultimately, was, first off, because obviously wasn't consistent, because like that's failure. Failure still, like I'm still in the game, I'm never quitting. It's just a pivot. But also me not being unique. Like I literally googled my like video topics, and I realized there are tens and dozens and like hundreds probably of guys making absolute same content as me that's like doesn't stand out much, and it's just like like it was nah, like I just didn't see the value in it, and neither did I have the skills to actually position it as something valuable or stand out from the crowd, because like the information, like it's not the goal. Like yeah, there is information that's better or worse for a particular avatar, but like you have to convey it, you have to bring attention to it. If you can't bring an attention to your amazing product, then your product is like doesn't matter. It's not that the product is shit, it's that like it just doesn't matter. And I was tired of that game, and so I quit, and I realized I needed more credibility, I needed more maturity to stay in the game. And I pivoted. I had that very, very deep belief, deep like it's just like a change in a career. It's it's a very tough process, and so I don't want to devalue my journey over the past year. It's been necessary. It's been, yeah, exactly. Okay, I regained the thought that I had. Like stage three is just a gap year. That's like my gap year after school. I decided like definitely not gonna go to uni. Like that's just bullshit. Doesn't make sense. Or spend other doesn't make sense. No. And so stage three is me learning, me growing, me taking on different perspectives. I worked my first 9 to 5. I pivoted from YouTube to something else, to sales. I considered psychology degree, university. I was like in AI, in videos, and um, you know using like different tools, and in that space, like I started drawing. There was like a lot of new different perspectives and new things that I tried, even though it felt a bit like stale, not as vivid as past 2 years with like YouTube, for example. The YouTube Times and self improvement. That's just like whoa. But then within this niche, I started finding my direction. So I unlocked the entire world at stage two, but now I learned to navigate in it. I learned to pay attention to things that matter and don't pay attention to things that don't, and realizing what I want and what I don't want, which is more important than what I want. To realize like what I don't want. And the stage four, where I am now, is just a new beginning. I don't want to pause and take time to like formulate my thoughts and stuff, because I want it to be as authentic and as real as possible, even when I don't have much clarity myself. Now, after the video, I'm going to literally go and plan out exactly what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna get there. But look, the main idea with stage four, where I'm now, is that I'm tired of losing. I'm sick and tired of being, sick and tired and just sabotaging myself, procrastinating. Because that's what it comes down to. I don't hate and I don't regret the work or the times where I put in the work. I don't hate those moments. Even when the work didn't pay off, even when it was like a terrible experience, I don't regret that at all. But I do regret the moments, and I do hate myself and like the moments where I just don't do anything, where I escape with reality, where I cope, where I sit there and watch anime and like play video games. Not because those things are evil, but because that's not what I need to be doing. Like video games and anime and all like the entertainment stuff, like the distraction, like they're not bad in themselves. It's just like when it becomes a distraction, okay, that's evil. And they're like basically almost entirely created, like for most percent, just for like entertainment and distractions. Distraction, wait, distraction, and so it leads to destruction. That's odd. I never knew like distraction is same as destruction, distraction, destruction. Basically, deconstruction of people because they're distracting themselves from their life. That's how I would put it. And so, stage four begins, and I have goals, and now I already committed to my goals, which is only one goal at the moment. Make 10K a month in 5 months. So by end of April 2026, before Sakura bloom, before my trip to Japan, I want to have made like 10k per month in the month of April, knowing that I can consistently reproduce it on, not necessarily even on an offer that I like, that's like not so important, but on, in a way, on an offer with the product that I genuinely believe in and that does not harm other people but that genuinely helps them. Like if I don't help people by making 10k a month, like I don't need fucking 10k a month. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna sell for it. Like my life is really good. So there are certain conditions now that are not yet outlined and they might change as well, um, to reach those 10k. But I'm tired. I'm really, really tired and sick and made the commitment to stop. To stop this. Just stop this. And it's not like I'm not sabotaging. I'm not in a rut because I'm evil. Because like I'm lazy. Because I'm stupid. Because whatever label you want to put on that, on the sets of behavior that I engaged in during those months. And like I'm talking to like you, but mostly to myself. It's not evil. Like we have needs, we have conflicting needs, we have things in our subconscious brain, in our like minds, and what have you, that want stuff, and that wanting, unconscious wanting or conscious, doesn't really matter. It contradicts the thing that you want to do, and that's the reason for the sabotage. Like I dove so deep into the sabotage and into why I procrastinate and why, that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years, learning about it, experiencing. Like, I have so many experience with self sabotage, with procrastination. I'm like, it's insane. Like, now, I still could be a very sort of, beginner at the topic, not, really knowing why, not, addressing that. But I feel like I know a ton, not because I'm, doing Kruger effect. I feel like I'm competent. Now I want to show this confidence. Now I want to use it. I want to make sure and do everything that I can. Like literally, it's just a different state of mind when I say that I'm gonna do everything that I fucking can to actually make this work. Not out of greed, not out of ego, not because it's cool to say impressive stuff on camera. For the first time, I think for the first time in my life, I genuinely feel cool, calm, collected, but also incredibly committed. Like, there is no denial that I'm in an emotional state, right now to some extent, and that I was for the past couple of days, and that it's a motivational hype. Sure, I understand that. But the ultimate commitment and the volition of my mind stands here. I'm gonna do everything that I can to make sure that it does not move from this until I hit $10,000 per month, which is not that much, it's just the beginning, as a closer by April 2026. And that's the goal, and that's the journey. And I made the commitment, instead of investing, like coming up with another $500, to invest in the same program that give me job posts so I can find a role. I found another $200 in that. So I had my birthday coming up, like how I came up specifically with money, $400 was my birthday, then $100 like from my entire family. I have a big family, six, seven, 8 people. Yeah, bro, I need to count. Yeah, 6 like people, and then the girlfriend of my brother is like 7, basically a second family. I don't know how it's called. It anyhow. $100 I made myself, went out there as a food delivery courier, made $100, and then I lent another $200 because I made a bet on myself, because I made a commitment. Literally, what when was it? The day before yesterday, 2 days ago. Like, to what? 24, like 40 hours ago. 40 hours ago, sitting on a webinar with Dan Smythe and Jack Sicker from Burn to Close, sitting on their, not mastermind, but sitting on their webinar. Yeah, I think I said that. I already made a decision at that point that I'm gonna buy their program. Like, I literally have this, this thing of like, that's my plan. You know, my quest. It was my quest, 3K a month. I didn't write a date for some reason, but it's there. It was like still by in like 3 months. So by end of January, I don't know. It's not written anyhow. Tasks: get on an offer, make money, invest. Step one: get on an offer, make money. Step two: invest in B2C Mastermind. Step three: make even more money. I already made the decision, and then these savages on the Black Friday make a $1,000 discount if I make a decision within 2 hours of this like webinar ending. On the first like payment, basically, I think it was like from the entire structure or maybe from the first payment. And what happened is that I already paid $300 as well before on one of their like downsells on their like Born to Close Lite, not Mastermind, and that counts as a down payment for the Mastermind program as well. So the program was 5K. If I go for a payment plan, which is like only what I can because I don't have the money and stuff, it's 2K times 3. But 2K minus 1K is 1K, and then 1K minus $300 is 700. And I already have 500. Literally before the webinar, I tried to buy that other community, but I couldn't physically. That just happened, and I was like, fuck, okay, next like morning, as soon as ATMs, basically I needed to exchange money, but it was like Sunday, no banks working. So I was like, okay, as soon as it opens up, I'm gonna exchange the money. On that webinar, I was like, fuck, I can shortcut months, literally months of my progress, of what I'm already gonna do, to now. Just pull it in, like sales calls on a calendar. Whenever someone is booked like a week out or it's 3 days out and you have some time now, you just call them up. Hey, can you do now? Or like today in some hours. It's like super efficient. And that's the same thing you do not only with sales calls, but with reality. How Hormozy said that basically coaching and like paying people to teach you shit is just like pulls in the reality. Like Hormozy came into the gym space as a business owner and just invested in a mastermind, like a lot of money. He has a lot of saved up capital, and before even having a business, just before never having a business, he was with the mastermind like for a lot of money with business owners, and he was asking them a ton of questions, a ton of information, and he just lapped everyone. He believes that's what he said. He lapped everyone because he was just took that humble pie, but literally pulled in the teachings of other people into now. And so that's what I did. Because of that discount, I was like, holy fuck, I need to get resourceful for $200 at 11 p.m. on Sunday and literally make the payment, as well as $500 that I do have, but that I can't process. Like, I need to get resourceful now and make that commitment and make that plunge. And so I did. It was an incredible roller coaster. My mother said no. My father said yes. Like, in short, my mother like still said yes, but then like, not gonna get into that. That's a bit personal, but maybe. Yeah, basically an insane emotional roller coaster. Maybe later I'm gonna get into that personally, because like, why not? But it's been an insane 2 days. And I made the decision, and now I really feel the commitment. Like, it's there. It's different. It's not the same commitment that I had when I started sales, because now I'm not like uninformed optimism. Now I'm not believing or thinking that it's, I'm gonna come on, make 10K a month in like 3 months, land a roll. It's like, I know the struggles. I know how hard it is. I know that it's difficult, and I know even the right things to do, and I've done them and I've already succeeded to some extent. I know it's incredibly hard. But right now is the time that I stop quitting when I'm in the valley of despair, when shit gets tough. And now's the time to gain that competence, that genuine, informed optimism, where I know that it's gonna be difficult, but I also know that it's possible and that there's no reason why I can't do it. And so let me restate what I wrote yesterday in a YouTube post. Let this be a strong reminder for myself, but also for anyone listening to this 50-minute my story type of video, to beat the procrastination, to beat the fears, to beat any form of like self-sabotage. What helped me, and just remember this, let this be a strong reminder. No one gives a fuck. Just win. And even if you don't win, no one still gives a fuck. There's still no one gives a fuck. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm gonna fail again. But at this moment, have proven to myself that for years and years of my life, I haven't quit. I haven't quit when it got hard with video games. I have not quit when it got hard in school and literally doubling my scores on IGCSE on like high school secondary education test. It got hard. I self-studied. I doubled my scores. Didn't quit then. I didn't quit on YouTube. I didn't quit on making money online. I didn't quit on sales. I didn't quit in the gym. I didn't quit in so many things in life. So I know that I'm there. I know that on a macro scale, I'm never giving up. And maybe I'm wrong this time, but right now, to me, this feels like a commitment. Because if it's not the commitment to what I feel, that's okay. I'm not gonna quit. But if that doesn't sound like a commitment to you, from my heart, from a genuine openness, when it actually is a commitment, then what the fuck are you doing? So, take action and improve.